Hey guys, so I finally had some time to sit down and take a look at all that leaked gameplay footage from Marvel's Capcom Infinite. That's just posted everywhere right now. But yeah, I'm not going to be going too crazy in-depth on the mechanics in this video because I just don't want it to be too long, because I know they're going to release some official gameplay real soon here, and they're going to be explaining some of the mechanics themselves. So till then, that's why I'll be going over everything in crazy in-depth. But don't worry, I'm not going to be talking about, the usual shit like the graphics of the game, how it looks like a mobile game, or how they need to raise the contrast and stuff like that. We're just going to be talking about the game engine. So let's get started. Alright, so let's start off with this counter switch system. So for 2 bars, it looks like you can tag to your partner while the opponent is hitting you in a combo. So this is kind of like a combo breaker. I also noticed that it says like danger on your health bar while you're tagging to your partner. So maybe you can only do this when you're close to death. That might be one of the conditions. But the cost of 2 bars is pretty high as well, so you won't be seeing this too often. This might create some extra, defensive depth to help turn the tables on your opponent, especially if he does something that has like a lot of recovery. Like if he's in the middle of some kind of multi-hitting move and then you tag, and then your partner is free, and then your opponent is still hitting your other partner, and you can attack him. It might be something like that. At the same time, the opponent might be able to predict what you're doing, that you're gonna use this counter switch, and then like bait it, like a burst bait, for example, in like anime fighting games, and punish you for attempting to switch. So let's talk about the Infinity Stone system. So this mechanic has changed just a tad bit from when we last seen it. So first off, there's 1 stone per team, and it's shared between your 2 characters. We see 3 different stones used in this gameplay footage. One is power, time, and space. So the Infinity Stones have their own separate meter that fills up, and it looks like the Ultra meter from Street Fighter 4, that little circle part. There's also 2 main things you can do with these stones that I can see. One is activating it, that's kind of like a V trigger, and each stone allows something different when you activate it. For power, it seems to amplify your damage, and then for time, it gives you like unlimited teleports, where your character's just going left and right across the screen through your opponent. And then the space, it encloses your opponent in a cube, which is really unique, and traps them. It's basically like creating an artificial wall around them, which is really crazy. So like I wonder if you can like wall splat them into it, or basically have like these cube exclusive combos. I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of crazy little semi-infinites with this, but definitely one of the most unique stones I've seen so far. Also, it looks like you're able to use this main activation when the bar is filled at least halfway. Very similar to, once again, the Ultra meter in Street Fighter 4, because you see that little white line like a pip showing the halfway mark. And then once you activate this gem, the bar turns into a timer and then starts to slowly drain at a steady pace. The second thing you can do with these stones is it has a brief use. So like a one-time use, it does something that depends once again on which stone you're using. It's kind of like a universal V skill, I would say. For one, the power stone knocks the opponent away from you and does like a wall bounce. So it can use it as like a combo extender. The space stone sucks the opponent towards you, which is really interesting. And then the time stone does that teleport. And I've seen it go a short distance through your opponent, or I can see it go full screen. So I'm not sure if you can change the trajectory of it. You can use it in the air as well. So the amount of uses for this is unknown. I see no meter used when using these. I don't know what like the conditions are. Your Infinity Stone meter also fills when you're getting hit. So it's kind of like a comeback mechanic. It also builds a very slight amount when you're using the power stone activation, like the V skill part of it, but it's just a very small amount, and even when it whiffs, it still builds just a slight amount. So building your Infinity Stone meter just by taking damage doesn't seem like to be the only way it fills up. Okay, let's talk about the other meter now, your super meter. So it seems that the super meter only fills up to 4 bars max in this game, unlike in Marvel's Capcom 3 and Marvel's Capcom 2, where it was 5 bars max. But one of the reasons why it was 5 bars in those previous games is because you had 3 people on your team. So basically you can do a level 1 super into a level 1 super into a level 3, so 5 total. But in this game there's only 2 characters, so you only need to do a level 1 super into a level 3, and there are still level 3 supers in this game. And it just kind of makes sense, especially with that counter switch mechanic using 2 bars, so half your meter basically. So let's talk about switching and assists now, or lack thereof. So this is totally different now in this game. We're going to have to wait for some gameplay footage here to fully explain this, because I'm not sure what the conditions are, and it doesn't seem to be like any limited uses. But there's this thing called active switch that I see constantly, and it seems to be your typical standard way of tagging to your partner, but it lets you tag to your partner even when you're in the air, which is strange, and it doesn't seem to cost anything at all. I don't see anything on the screen that gets used, or a timer, so I'm not sure on the limited uses. And if you can even do this when you're in the middle of a combo on your opponent and then tag to your partner, and then he runs along the bottom of the screen. You can also tag during supers, so really strange. And there doesn't seem to be any assists at all in the game. I know they wanted to get rid of that and change it in some way. So this seems to be kind of intertwined with the tagging system, the assists and the tagging together. But also Ultron seems to have some traditional looking assists though, so that's kind of cool. Now I should also mention the OTG system is a little wacky in this game. So in case you guys don't know, OTG stands for off the ground, and it's basically the system that allows you to continue comboing your opponent after you knock them flat on the ground. You basically knock them back up and continue your combo. So the rules have changed a lot between like Marvel's Capcom 2 and Marvel's Capcom 3. I'm not going to go too much in depth in it, but basically in this game it looks like a hybrid between the two. So it doesn't look like you can roll in this game unless the combo drops, and then basically a lot of your normal attacks, like your low profile hitting attacks, can OTG. It's a lot more freeform than Marvel's Capcom 3, which is kind of scary since there is no roll. So it looks like basically it's just everything works so far. But yeah, I'll go a little more in depth on it once we get the official gameplay footage, but expect a lot of different types of combos. Like Hulk, for example, looks like he can just combo without using assists, right? So I guess this is something that they had to consider since they're not using assists. Since in Marvel 3 you have to use assists to complement your character to help you continue your combo after you knock them on the ground, because there just wasn't too many things that picked them up off the ground. Also, recoverable health is returned into the game, which is really nice. That's the red portion of your health that can start to refill and regenerate when your character is not active on the screen and you take him out, basically. I really like managing your health between your two characters, but it doesn't seem to be like a snap out in this game where you can force your opponent to switch his characters when he doesn't want to, and then that way you can go after his character that has a lot of red health built up or you don't want him to regenerate. I like that management between, you know, both the offensive and defensive players. It doesn't seem that you lose recoverable health when you tag and switch your character like it was a hard penalty in Marvel's Capcom 2. Just tagging meant you lost all your red health on the character on the sidelines, but in this game it doesn't seem to be the case. Also, you regenerate at a very steady pace. It doesn't seem to speed up when your character is not active for a long time. And finally, I just want to comment on a spectator's point of view. The game is just not as cluttered in general. So just visually, it's easier to see what's going on, I would say. For example, there's like a symbol on the health bar that says you can't switch. It says when you're danger, when you're low on health. It says when your character is dead, it says down. It's only 2v2, so it's not as crazy with 3 characters on the screen. Also, the assists are just completely gone, it seems. So you don't have multiple characters like on the screen at once. Also, you can't jump as high when you super jump. You don't go crazy at the top of the screen. And the stages just seem a lot smaller in general, more compact. And there's also like a blue team and a red team. So just from a spectator's point of view, I say just a lot easier to follow what's going on in the game so far. So that's pretty much everything I want to go over for now, guys. Like I said, I don't want to go too in-depth on this leaked gameplay footage. We're going to get some official footage real soon, and a lot of our questions are going to be answered. Plus, I would like to know some of the official names of a lot of this stuff too. So let me know what you guys think of this game so far. Does it look promising? It's coming out real soon in September, so we got like a gist of kind of like what the game is going to be like when it finally launches. Of course, don't forget to like the video, guys, and be sure to subscribe to the channel, because of course I'll be keeping a very close eye on Marvel's Capcom Infinite and covering as much as I can in the future. So till then, guys, take care.